Toronto versus Major 3, currently in 12th seed, Optic, Texas.
And that is also our grand finals rematch, so don't anybody want to forget that one.
We'll be back after this final day of the CDL.
All right, fans, time is running out to make your picks. Choose your winners now by scanning the QR code you see on the screen. Hurry, it closes at 3:15 Eastern.
The Champs Tracer Pack is available now. The bundle includes the Reaper Operator Skin, Ripper Weapon Blueprint, Death Stare Weapon Blueprint, Cuts Deep Charm, 2 calling cards, 2 emblems, and 2 weapon stickers. Use these items in both Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and Call of Duty Warzone. Available in store now using Call of Duty points.
Never miss a match of your favorite teams with the Call of Duty League Calendar Sync. Here's the fun part. When you add a calendar, you'll also receive a Squad Up calling card you can use in-game.
Let's go. Come on. Lock the fuck in. Let's go.
From a city, you hear sirens when we sleep. Heaven sent, hands down, vibes so unique.
Look at, yeah.
On the table, 8-10,
Look at me, yeah.
I love when the
No,
coming in on a day-to-day.
wait, no, fuck y'all. No, fuck y'all motherfuckers. No, fuck no. Why am I getting lit to this shit? Hell no.
I think they gon' need a minute. Look, I'm interested in making as opposed to making friends. Double bags, I've been paranoid, having a safe place, so take a check. Finishing this drink should only take a sec, but Mark just cut me off, he told me that I go on stage and tan. Walk out to my own shit on the main event. Da Vinci, my cologne after the show. She told me that shit was a favorite sense. Sprint a fan of spacious, we can take it friends. What happened next? You can take a guess.
That kiss from inside gets me every time. Welcome in, everybody. It is the first of 3 matches, and we are starting one off with a top 3 teams. It's a battle between Toronto Ultra, who has our number 2 seed, going up against Optic Texas, who has the 3 seed overall in the season. But right now, Optic is in a slump, and Toronto is surging after taking down Atlanta FaZe. Let's start with the team wearing purple today, Alley Cat.
Yeah.
What have they shown you in their recent matches?
I mean, they have been unreal during this qualifier. One of the favorites alongside of Atlanta FaZe. They are undefeated in map 1s right now and just been unreal in Respawn overall. We're talking about a 14-3 combined in hardpoint and control in the last 30 days. And beyond that, like, their slang has been unreal. Kleenex has been on a heater in control throughout the entirety of this split. Their only downfall has been in search and destroy. They've been falling short there, but versus Atlanta FaZe, they were able to clutch up and make the mid-round adjustments to pull that W. So for Toronto, things are looking great.
You got Insight and Scrap running the ARs, Kleenex and Envoy, the frontline men with the SMGs. And as we take a look at our monster pregame name list, give me the keys. What do we need to see?
Yeah, straight control defense, 12-3 record first, and that's kind of what I wanted to highlight. Like, they had a goal coming into this stage, and it was like, we want to add another map to our control map pool, and it's going to be high rise. And guess what? They won 5 straight high rises. Kleenex might be the best control player in the world right now, dropping almost 4,700 damage a map and 1.24. He's been downright bonkers in that game mode, which just gives them an edge because we've known all year long top 2 hardpoint team, right? And when they play the top teams, they have success in search and destroy. Just overall, throughout their season, they tend to lose them to some of the bottom.
Taking a look at their weaknesses, it's early round S&D. Big picture, though, Toronto Ultra, known for their incredible teamwork. They can win games with less slang. On the other side, you're looking at an all-star lineup there on Optic Texas, one that you are banking on winning their ones and putting together multi-kills. Let's walk through the lineup here, Allie, and give me a quick description of Kenny and Friends.
I mean, Kenny and Friends, they were like one of the best teams in the game, but right now they've had nothing but a slump. Their respawns have still been fairly solid, but the search and destroy has been literally killing them. 2-9 right now. They're 0-5 in game 5s in the last 30 days. This is not
0-5 in game 5s.
0-5. This is not the same Optic Texas that we saw during Major 3 qualifiers or Major 3 at all, who was extremely icy and extremely clutch. They have the most clutch player in the league on their team in Dashy, and they haven't been able to do it.
Nameless, I'm looking through the numbers here. Optic has already played, what, 28 maps
Yeah.
You're in 12th seed, but is it a good thing you're getting this many reps before the final major?
No, it's a horrible thing, right? And I think it's like a direct comparison to like stage 2 when they went to all those game 5s, if you guys remember, even versus the lesser teams.
Yep.
Except they're winning them then.
They're
4-0 in the game 5s. Now they've lost, 5 of them. And when you talk about Search and Destroy, it's a 9-map active losing streak in that game mode where they're averaging under 4 rounds won per S&D. It's just unacceptable. And you could see all the glaring weaknesses of their Search in that game 5 versus Boston yesterday, just not on the same page. The mental just hasn't been there.
The good news for Optic fans, Subbase is in the mix here. Allie, how do you see these maps playing out?
The first 2 maps, like neither of them really prefer. I mean, Optic Texas Subbase success, you talk about, last split, that was one of their best hard points. But I'm more shocked that High Rise Control was allowed map 3. You're talking about Toronto Ultra, it's 5-1. That is the only control that they have been playing this entire qualifier.
Yeah, Toronto love it. I mean, you're talking about 6-star. They've added that to their map pool. Now they feel great about it. High Rise 5 straight. And then that Subbase, Optic lost to Vegas on it. No longer unscathed there, a map that Toronto's been good at throughout the season. So I feel like Toronto look at this and they're like, we're taking this easy.
Optic could go as high as 9th seed with a win. That would be a clean 3-0. And of course, on the other side, Toronto could enter Major 4 with the number 1 seed if they're able to take down Optic in their final fight. We look at our numbers and it's time to pass down the crown. Lord Nameless,
back, baby.
The king of correct picks. Where are you going with the first one of the day?
You know what?
Are you staying
Why
on?
not? I'm going to go with Optic Texas. They're going to take this series just because that's how Call of Duty goes.
Optic Texas jumping up the leaderboard but staying in the elimination bracket. How about you, Allie?
I'm going with Toronto Ultra to hopefully win me that crown back after that series.
I'm going with Scrap Daddy.
Sure.
I have a feeling he's bringing the heat, and the fans selected Toronto as well. But I just heard from the producer there was less than a 1% differential in the fan vote. This one is split 50-50 by the community. Number 2 seed versus number 12. We hand it over to 2 of my favorites, though. It's Chip and Study.
Scrap called me an unk. That's why I picked Optic.
I don't know if stream can still hear that or not, but that's crazy. Also crazy that the fans actually picked Toronto here. So I know there was a major conversation on the flank last night. Lots of opinions. I'm sure there are people writing dissertations about what's going on with Optic, whether they're fine, whether they're not. The big news here, Jay, you got to start with these first 2 maps, re-identifying what this Optic team actually is right now.
Oh, yeah. Optic need to come out swinging because they're starting off this series with the Subbase HP. They were sitting at 11-0 before the last time that they spawned in on the map versus the Vegas Legion, and they got absolutely ran. Did not win a majority of their rotations. They got outslayed by 30-something kills, probably even more. Just wasn't a good time for them, but this has been a staple for them. Going back to the votes, though, like Greenwald fans starting to shift a little bit. I guess realizing that Optic Texas are not really clutching up in their search and destroy has got them going the other way.
Well, and I think Allie brought up a really strong point when in terms of, you're looking at squads going into Major 4. Toronto, I think, is carrying a ton of favor right now because their respawn across both hardpoint and control has been so darn good. Now, granted, again, there is like this natural work ethic of they're only playing high-rise control. This comes shortly after Major 3 where they really only played invasion control. So it definitely feels like there is some sort of a dictation in terms of Ultra wanting to try to build out their map pool by getting rep after rep after rep, series after series, depending on what map it is. But across the board, outside of the fact they've only played high rise, hey, you get rid of the Rio hardpoint, they've played every other hardpoint map so far this stage. So there is a lot in terms of building favor towards Toronto, especially considering how strong the respawn has been everywhere.
Oh yeah, the respawn's unbelievable. 9-2 in HP, 5-1 in control, all of that coming on high rise. So it's good for them that they are expanding that map pool, because if you think about the beginning of the season, they were the best hardpoint team in the game. And 2 hardpoint maps that they were really good at just somehow vanished, and we had to add a couple new maps. So now they're starting to get back in the right foot of just making sure that they're unbelievable in hardpoint. But with the expansion and control, adding that high rise, because we already knew that Karachi was a bread and butter, they are just getting prepared for the end of the season.
Indeed the case. Subbase.
Let's
At
go.
one
Come
point
on.
in time, it was a great map for Toronto, but they're coming off of a very stagnant loss to the Atlanta FaZe most recently. So it feels like one of those maps where for Optic, it's time to reassert what your identity is. No excuses here. Have to start off strong, but it's Toronto who get the early time plus the early kills holding onto the P2 side of the map.
Yeah, they start off on the preferred side. They were able to withstand that early push coming in from Optic Texas, watching every single angle. Now continue to soak up this hill time. Optic right now with only 25 seconds left, are a little bit scattered, but they're thinking about trying to flip these spawns. Shotzi's only able to find one, and if you are Ultra, this is the perfect start.
indeed the case. And well, for Optic, it's all about trying to find a way to get through this scrap time, and there will be at least some contest over the top of P1, but the rotation over towards 2 is all coming through warehouse side. Toronto have a pretty solid read on this. Insight tossing all of his utilities to try to keep Optic at bay, and yeah, perfect read here for Toronto, not allowing a single second to get earned, and they've got the early setup for P2.
Yeah, Toronto versus Atlanta, the last time that they played this map, where they struggled with is a rotation. Same thing could be said for Optic, so it's already 1-0 count in favor of Ultra. And they are holding this down to the T. Not a single player dropping. Finally, Kenny's able to find one, but that leads to Insight on 5, make it 6 in a row. Just absolute perfection from Ultra.
Unreal start for Toronto. 50-0, cruise missile earned. And you even can see that Toronto are going to get information from Kleenex on this long cross through middle. So Envoy just holds the corner. Scrap down low. Here comes the break and tap for Optic, but they all run right into Envoy. Lots of damage, only finds the 1 kill. Scrap down low, good help from Insight. And yeah, this has been absolutely perfect from Toronto. Not even a single major threat from Optic ever towards this P2.
And now going forward with that cruise missile in the back pocket and such a big start the way that they have it, you're going to have that to find breaks early on at that P4. So if you are Ultra, you're going to enforce every single player try to find a break here at this P3. Optic fully set up off the rotation, though. Have to make this one count.
And Kleenex trying to get up top towards Snow, trying to double check to see if anyone's topside warehouse. Kenny's nearby, but, well, he will be found. I was about to say he stayed pretty concealed from this hit to the moment, but look at the route from Envoy. He's already flipped the spawns around. I mean, you want to talk about not just Optic getting battered, but you want to talk about the improvements from Toronto? This has looked so much better than how they played Atlanta just a short while ago.
Yeah, this is clean, man. And I don't know if it's because Toronto are playing at such a high level or Optic Texas are playing at such a low level. Because obviously, when you have players the way that you have, a full lineup of superstars, you're expecting them to making sure they're keeping up in every single department, and especially the slaying. Right now, they are currently struggling. They find the break-in for the final 20.
They get killed through the middle of the map. Now they can threaten around the back through P4. Trades are even. What happens to spawns here? Hardpoint's going to open up. Toronto still spawns out, and Shotzi's going to spawn right behind.
Difference now. If you are Ultra, just got to make sure you take control of that comms area. You find a couple kills. Now this is where you invest a cruise missile to make it a little bit more scrappy, or not, because a couple spawns from Optic Texas, they spawn out.
Yeah, the kills through mid-map were just so darn fast, and now Shotzi up top tries to play recovery. He's at least in a spot to contest, and there we go. Okay, moment there for Toronto that started to get a little bit scary for the Optic setup, but they collect themselves nicely. 5 kills straight for them, and that'll be enough for Optic to also put themselves in a really good oversight position over the top of the new hill.
Yeah, and that's why I would assume if you're Ultra in that situation to invest that cruise missile on that P4. Just so you can account for everyone and make sure that break is going to be successful. But you allow Optic Texas to reinforce their way back in and put themselves right back in a position to potentially take the lead here at P5. You have Dashy holding down top warehouse. You still have the spawns that you want for this hill. And it's a 2-2 in the trade split. Optic Texas is going to be in first.
Yeah, but you still have Toronto holding the high ground of their own, so a chance for them to at least battle off this oncoming assault from Texas. First 2 kills are good. Kenny just trying to see if he can get isolation over towards Scrap, but instead finds Kleenex in the hard point, and that's enough for Scrap to find the trade. Back and forth we go. Optic still trying to find a way to break this through, and a little bit of a pinch setup here with the staggered spawns will allow them a chance to kind of surprise Toronto through the middle of the map.
Yeah, but you don't really want this. You don't want to be spawning over towards warehouse side, especially when you allow Toronto Ultra to find those initial kills. Now they put all their focus over towards warehouse. Kleenex holding down top Snow, and Optic Texas might not have an opportunity unless Dash is able to win this one-on-one to find any time here. He's able to get 1 second, but that's not enough. Ultra win the rotation over towards New because they have the preferred side of the map, but these kills are massive for Optic Texas to start to work their way out.
Yeah, Toronto still fully spawning on the left side of the map like you mentioned, but Pred just watching through the catwalk. Shots over towards Kleenex, Scrap battling off, but yeah, all things told, considering it was an 80 to about 10 game, this is not bad news for Optic overall. Toronto's trying to play recovery towards this left side of the map. Staggered spawns are all over the place. Once again, we go pinstripe in the kill feed, but Toronto able to at least capitalize, find the kills, and get themselves at least a neutral hard point.
Yeah, they're able to get them out of the hard point now. But you got to take care of Shotzi and Envoy with the perfect read and the headshot. It's able to win that gunfight. Now Ultra work their way back into the HP. Optic Texas, though, they still have the spawns over towards a new hill, but every single player falls at the wrong time. A perfect opportunity for Ultra to blow this game wide open.
Yeah, Insight can just hold over towards frontside snow. Scrap is right next to him, and he is shooting 20 and 9 off 4 in a row, eventually taken care of. A couple of decent trades here for Texas, but not really going to amount to too much in terms of what happens over the scrap time, nor what's going to happen over towards this P2 setup. Maybe a chance for Optic to get to but Scrap off the reset, gets back in, shuts it down, and now Toronto can open up P2 with a lot of comfort around the hill.
Yeah, they're already up 60. Last time Optic Texas could not find any breaks in towards this P2 HP. But you have to try to change that here because we allowed them to get all this time. It's basically going to be GG. You see the kill feed, it's all purple. They're able to dominate in that department, and now it's only Shotzi in a position to potentially contest.
Well, not looking good here for Optic at the moment. Still 35 seconds to fight, and as Toronto starts to run away with Scrap on 5, we jump into a Toronto Ultra. Listen it.
Side door. I'm top. Dead. Side door. Dashy. Nice. I'm going new. Top. Dead. Nice. I'm going new.
Yeah.
Try and push forward here.
I have streaks though.
Get tunnel. Dead. Nice. I'm top 10 though.
Are we flipping?
Could be.
Not yet. Shotzi good. Trying for it.
They're going to get top 10. Back door. Dead. One more back 10.
Shotzi on all weak.
I think he's back 10 somewhere.
Low 10.
Where'd he go? Back door. Two back door Scrap. They're back. Already out. One more. Go on. Close to the left. Same spot.
I push. I spawn back one time. Yeah, here. One time.
Stun on time. Give me a second. I'm going water. Hit us back and then once.
Play left every sec.
I don't know if they know here. I kill the guy time. One keep right and then one time. Nice.
I'm blocking. They're both their spawns.
One tunnel.
No, really weak in time. One's
blocking.
Nice.
Let's get P2.
Let's get
spawned here. Yep. P2 on me weak.
I'm gonna go the game, bro.
Go. One on mid alley. Ready? Weak. Tunnel, bro. I have tunnel here. I'm all tunnel. Just get under the hub. I have all tunnel.
I only have low 10.
They're gonna jump. Watch the door. Pin door. Top 10 right now. Or top.
Make him
jump. Top rail's weak.
Tunnel, bro.
Coming to me. Dead.
One more Jeremy. Jump down. One up. This is fine. One more 10. One more back 10.
Stay alive.
Weak. We're good. Wait. He went 10. He went 10. Top third. Third right now.
Go streak for this.
Top 10. Weak. Nice big time. Might have 10 here again.
We got wall with the streak?
I'm down. Yeah, I'll go. I'll jump water. Or I like the streak. I already have 10. Wait, top 10. You just sat there. There's 2 10. One low, one top. Low glass. I think there's 2 on the left.
I'm just going water, bro.
Go for it. They in glass?
He's in glass.
Yeah, you reckon? I don't see him. He's gonna be top god.
They're in your wall.
Right, top god. He's water. Mid-side snow, guys. One top glass position though.
Okay, one in time, one top double, one in glass, and one in
time is dead. What's glass in the picture? Ramp one shot the camera. I can't
go. 1v2,
nice carry. Top short though, I can't kill him.
Still there. He's laying there. Top short, weak, and one back. He's front to time.
Yeah, one's top single. That's the guy P2, Jimmy. Stay alive loading first. Single weak. Why not?
Well, once again, it's that P1 to P2 rotation, plus Toronto making life difficult to 3. It's just really been, again, impressive to see Toronto's recovery after what they faced versus Atlanta just about a week ago.
Yeah, this is unbelievable, man. Like, they are playing perfect Call of Duty on a map like Subways where they could be 50-50 a majority of the times. When you're winning rotations to 3 straight hills, finding early breaks on the 3rd one at that, that's what allows you to have the lead that you do. You can't find a break here, though, at P4, so this has been the money hill for Optic Texas so far on the map, but only needed 17 seconds. You rotate nice and early, and you should be able to close out the game here.
Well, and that's the thing, we saw this with Atlanta, talking about their Vista in particular, sometimes even looking at Rio's. Like, if you're Ultra and you're winning 100 essentially to 20 between P2 to P3, and then you're giving away 60, you're still coming out net positive. It's just like they're choosing which rotations, which hills they have the availability to actually rotate in, and you can see what that led to. Yeah, Optic, sure, great through P4, but everywhere else on the map has been nothing but the Toronto Ultra. So there's 3 seconds away. One more kill is needed. Scrap trying to get it done himself, not quite able to, and Optic will extend the map a little bit further, but only 3 points needed for Toronto. They have looked really good on the map.
Yeah, they look unbelievable on this map. So if you are Optic Texas, it's going to take a miracle. Try to bring this one back. Hopefully able to keep up in the kills. So right now they are trading effectively, but Scrap and Kleenex combining for 2, make it 3 in the feed. They're going to be able to close out the game. That's map 1 to Ultra.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we've seen the top teams in Respawn right now. Not just talking on the year, but the teams in Major 4 qualifiers that have been really good, especially in the hard point. You make these choices of, okay, we can get the full 60 here at P2. Can we actually get across the 3? Oh, we can. We can block spawns. Sure, let's full commit to this. And then, of course, you've got the cruise missile, which kind of bails you out of the decision of how much do we really want to invest over towards the 4th. But, I mean, you're going to see it in the game flow. P1 to P2 to P3, Toronto Ultra all over it.
Yep.
And outside of the, maybe all of the time that Optic got largely came through P4, that was a dominant map from Toronto from pretty much start to finish.
Oh, yeah, and you just got to keep in mind who they're doing it against. Like Optic Texas, this was their best hardpoint game. That's now 2 times in a row where they have fallen short. And it's just simply getting outplayed. We're going 1 by 1 on break attempts. We're not rotating early. We're just trying to play for a majority of the kills around the middle of the map. And when those things aren't going in their favor, this is what the score is going to look like at the end. The only one breaches 4K damage is going to be Shotzi. We know with his movement and the way he's able to get around the map, he's always able to put down that damage. But it's just Optic Texas, again, just not looking in sync, even in respawns now.
Yeah, it's been very peculiar, I think, to put it plainly. And honestly, you talk about the top damage from Shotzi. He had a miserable start, just could not find a way to get going. I mean, right here, he's 1 and 8. I mean, it really was until P3, P4 that he started to pop off right here. So it's one of those things that, again, it just, for Toronto, you start off hot, you put a lot of pressure over to Optic, and yeah, they get that good kind of dry dock hard point twice in a row, but that's where the only time really comes through. And I think just the macro game for Toronto is looking really clean, not just here on this particular map, but that's been the case for their entire respawn throughout the entirety of this qualifier, and that includes not just the map versus Optic, but of course the series versus Atlanta as well.
Yeah, you can always expect Ultra to come out and play some really well-polished Call of Duty. And right now, with everyone playing the way they are, Inside has been stepping up all throughout this stage. Kleenex is a man on a mission, especially in control, but Envoy's been consistent now all throughout this stage as well. So every single player from Toronto Ultra is firing on all cylinders. And keep in mind, I didn't even bring up Scrappy because you know what that guy is going to give you on the map. They are just clicking right now on a whole different level. They got the respawns locked down, at least in the hardpoints and the control, and even in the search and destroyers where they might be 50-50, you're taking down Atlanta in 2 out of the 5, and that's unbelievable because you're expecting when you're making a late run into these tournaments, you're going to run into teams like that. So just sneaking out an SD win here and there is good enough for Ultra with how dominant they are in respawn.
I mean, look at it again, the game flow from P1 to P3 for Toronto on both sets of hills. That's where the majority of their time comes from, whereas for Optic, it happens from 3 to 4. That's the only spike that really comes through. And of course, mixy P5s, mixy P1s, sure. But, you know, again, you know, watching Toronto play this map versus Atlanta, it was, they were trying to fight for everything. Yeah. Now you get this instance of, you know, if we can get time on 5 and 1, great. Otherwise, let's just play for the P2 side, find a way to contest 3, and then if we have to give up 4, we have to give up 4. So it definitely feels, again, very discernible in terms of what their identity looks like on the map, and the macro gameplay really, really well thought out from Ultra. So now we go to a 6-star search and destroy. And, you know, for the side of Optic, they've played the map a couple of times. Of course, very recently when they were playing up against Boston yesterday in map number 2. But you got to break the S&D loss streak right here. I mean, it already feels bad you don't get one of your best map mode combinations with the sub-base hardpoint, but you got to show us something in search right here, right now, if we want to have a whisper of a hope of them making any sort of a lower bracket run.
And the only thing that scares me is the body language that they ended off of that map number 1, because you saw the player cams from Optic Texas. I see a bunch of, you know, heads back all over the place. They're just, nothing is going right for them. And now you're going into a map number 2 where it's search and destroy, and that hasn't treated you well for like the last month. 0-9 so far in their last couple of attempts. And a lot of that is due to the fact that teams are now vetoing invasion, search and destroy. We're talking about stage 3 where they went 6-0. Unbelievable on Championship Sunday at Major 3, 3-0. But now so far in the stage, they've only had one opportunity to play it, and they fell short versus the subliners all the way in around 11. So with teams now vetoing those maps, the bread and butter maps, you're forcing these guys to play maps that they are not really comfortable with 6-star being one of them. You see the record, 2-9, 12 overall. Opening dual win percentages are literally at the bottom. Defensive records are the worst I've ever seen. And that's the biggest thing that stands out to me, is because on a map like 6-star, where their stats are abysmal, especially on the defensive side, they're one of the worst teams on that side of the map. And it's due to the fact because they are allowing the bomb to get down every single round. And they have 0% of retakes. Like, that's unbelievable. You have that many opportunities to where you can work on your retakes, and they have still yet to figure it out. So if you are Optic Texas, defenses have to be a lot better, more in sync.
Losing opening duels, losing objective focus. It really, again, there hasn't been much to speak of since really we watched them play Miami back in week number 1. So have to find something here. Again, we need to see some search and destroy collection from the side of Optic. Otherwise, for Toronto, again, the news here on this map is not necessarily bad. They have looked really solid on it. Around 11 loss to Minnesota, sure, but around 10 win versus Atlanta most recently. And that has been, I think, the one thing about this Toronto team in terms of how can they put themselves into championship form. It has to be by way of the map 2, map 5.
But so far in this round, they are slow and steady on their attacks, realizing that neither team is going to have trophy systems. We want time to at least develop them potentially, but that bomb is now getting planted towards A. Scrap is getting isolated. Somehow, some way he's able to find a kill, and now it's a 3v2 in favor of Ultra.
Yeah, and off this plant, it's just going to be so difficult here for Optic to find a way to re-break in. They're going to go to the old tried and true smoke play. Just toss it down and see if you can get a little bit lucky, which Shotzzy does. Finds the first blood, but he does get tagged up. Dashy with the pistol out, able to find one. Trying to maybe think about hopping it, but lost track of maybe where exactly Cleanex was, and the late play from Cleanex comes through to keep the numbers advantage and the conversion success for the side of Toronto in the first round.
Yeah, it gets close right there. Optic make it a 1v1, but I still don't like the decision making in a 2v3. Like, Dashy's still making his way up through mid steps at that B site, and Shotzzy just decides to 1v3 it by himself, invest in the smoke grenade. Even though he's able to find one, it's just like, where's the teamwork? Like, where's the attempt of trying to work together to try to clutch in these rounds? They don't show it there, and Ultra take the first.
And I will say, just on the other side of things, speaking more positively, I love the proactivity from Toronto to get a little bit further beyond the A site, make Optic have to rotate back over through U-Haul. It just forces Optic to be in the worst possible position. So good stuff for Toronto. Shotzzy looking to go quickly over towards the A site. This is going to be left alone here by Toronto, just watching for Envoy on this cross as the rest of Ultra are looking to get through and aggressive on the B side of the map.
Oh, and I love this play right here from Ultra. If they could commit a little bit quicker, because you want to try to retake this site through security. You have 2 players working that pinch, and both of the SMGs sitting around that mid connector. Inside trying to invest in nade. It's going to blow up by a trophy. That's already been 15 seconds wiped off the game clock, but Scrap finds the first blood.
Yeah, Kenny just gets caught, kind of going back and forth.
Oh, man.
Scrap turns that into a second. Smoke down. Shotzzy in a little bit of trouble trying to play around the B flank, and now it's just down to Pred. Decent damage, decent shots, but all things told, the only one to lose their life is Envoy on the retake, and I mean, I'm sure Scrap can't believe his fortune to find 2 on that angle when Kenny was hard scoped on it.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like, if you're Optic Texas, you're playing for the info. You have players pushing out the opposing side. You just want to put yourself in a position to spot the flank and play your life. But the fact that Kenny's in this kind of angle, Scrap reads it, and then the snap onto Dashy, which neither player really does miss shots. Just Scrap is on point right now. Take down both of those guys. You take full control of security, and you trap the rest over towards Statue. That's a perfect retake right there from Ultra.
Really good first 2 rounds from Toronto on both sides. Optic looking to try something a little bit different this time. Not going to have any defenders on the A site. No trophy system here either. Nade is up and over, and Toronto are going to say, wait, there's no trophy here. There's no one tagged off that. Let's just go for the quick plant. I love this call from Ultra.
I love this call from Ultra, but I love the play from Optic Texas reacting as fast as they did. They're not going to be able to stop the bomb plant, but they are potentially going to be here to contest early on. Here comes the smoke.
It's a little bit short-sighted, though, so this double stack for Toronto members on the backside can read the play through it. Envoy's going to get 2. I mean, that is just a post-plant setup that ultimately uses Optic smoke against them. Dashy in trouble, has nowhere to go, and it's 3 very quick rounds for Toronto.
And I thought Optic Texas was going to play that round a lot faster. They're gaining the info. They dominate that mid-map pressure early on. They also shut down that early deep push as well. But when they put themselves in a connector, that bomb is getting planted. You have to try to instantly go because you had 3 players sitting in that position. Dashy was just playing his life towards the backside of Skybridge, waiting for the play to come in. But when eventually it does, it's just too many players from Ultra waiting for those pushes out of the smoke grenade. Envoy finds a double, and Ultra so far flawless in this search and destroy.
Wow. What do you say? Again, the retake percentages have been abysmal for Optic, to put it plainly. And that continues to be the case here. Envoy, lots of opening nades kind of exchanged between both sides, but Envoy really can't do too much here from this bottom Skybridge position. He has been stunned. Can't really get on towards this site, and that's going to force Toronto to kind of reposition their defense. Optic will get the offensive smoke, but they're trying to bait out Toronto's defense with it, and it's really not working out. So they miss a window here for a plant, and you've got Cleanex. Oh, I was going to say maybe he catches the timing onto Kenny, but now everything starts to move. Optic in a good numbers position.
Yeah, Optic also take care of Envoy as well. So they instantly put themselves in the 4v2 advantage. Just try to work that bomb plant. Kenny also finds another one through the middle of the map. This is an Optic round.
Yeah, definitely should be. You can definitely see a window in there, though, where it looked like if Toronto would have caught Kenny on that little timing, that whole round kind of goes awry because every single piece of utility was thrown for Optic early, trying to pull that Toronto defense for a contested bomb. That doesn't really work, but Kenny, fortunately, able to catch one over towards the pool side, and then from there, Toronto just spread. Legitimately, they were spread too thin.
Yeah, and it was the stun that connects onto Envoy that allows Optic Texas to now be a little bit slower on that push, because they were expecting someone to be playing aggressive around that site, but when Kenny finds that first one and they eventually sniff out Envoy, that is a GG. So Optic Texas get one on the board. Now to go back on the defensive side where, again, they have a 0% chance at retaking. Let's try to not allow the bomb to go down.
Yeah. And it looks like they will try to play a little bit further forward. Delayed utility, though, from Toronto is landing. Nades, stuns, all connecting over the top of the A site. Not a full commitment here, though, for Ultra. They get the intel, maybe trying to think they've pulled Optic's defense a touch, and look at the little two-man stack over towards B. They're going to try to flush out this backside Tiki bar.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of ground away from Optic, and they're also forcing them to think that an adjustment is going to come in. As the players over at A start to get aggressive up through Statue, they have gotten to read that the player's going to be over towards B. Dashy spots that trophy system go down, but he can't do anything about it. Just going to play his life.
And looks like they're going to try to play for a contest or a retake through mid here. Just trying to avoid that position that Insight is currently holding on that palm tree. Bomb planted. You've got a late lurk from Scrap here as soon as they start to read where this retake is coming from. There's the Optic defensive smoke on this retake. Kleenex, Semtex giving himself some separation up and around. Not able to quite find Fred. So the trade is decent, but Insight holds the position nicely, and now here comes Scrap on the flank. Absolutely nothing that Optic could do trying to reflood that through mid.
This is some of the worst, like, S&D I've seen in quite some time, Alan. Like, Dashy gains that info early on. And once you gain that info, you have to now make that play. You can't just wait for the bomb to go down and then, all right, we're going to pop a smoke grenade, run through it, hopefully it goes our way. Like, no, you gain the info. You have players who are very, very confident. Let's just hit it out before they can even work that objective, because once that bomb gets planted, they are perfect on their post-plant setup so far. Optic Texas need to play a little bit more faster, a little bit more confident, a little bit more in sync.
Think your frustration started to be
Hell yeah!
Here, Jake.
Hell yeah! Like, damn, what we doing?
Well, first blood here is Optic are just full running it down middle, and the SMGs come out with the first two. One trade from Insight before he gets taken care of, and okay, just a little tempo change. Optic say, let's just play TDM, not worry about the objective, and that works out.
That's good plays. All right, there we go. Switch up the pace. Send the SMGs aggressively up through mid. Pred is actually able to strike for that first blood. And that leads to an early round success right there from Optic Texas. A 15-second rounds. Those are the ones that you sort of need, especially on the attack. But now you have to figure it out on defense. We got to stop the bomb from being planted.
Can they find that same sort of aggression on the defensive side? Do you just play it through mid? I mean, is that the option? Because this whole feel out on the outsides hasn't worked out decently at all. So maybe you try to just stay aggressive through mid-map, and that may be the case as Shotzi automatically checks in. Well, he's got to hold the line at some point. You can't just keep diving forward, but still, with a little bit of support here from Pred, there's a feel out over towards where P2 would be, and wouldn't you know it, there's no one checking info towards A. Ultra get the read, they get the post plant. Here we go again.
Yeah, Kenny was able to spot him, but every single player on his team was over towards that B site, so they're going to be a little bit late off this rotation. And it's already been 10 seconds wiped off the game clock, but here goes that smoke again.
And it's almost the exact same setup this time. The trades are decent. Scrap able to find one, but has to hit the deck. Insight trying to come over to help, and whoa, Scrap down low. He's able to find one, keep his life a little while longer for Insight to get a part.
Oh my God!
How is he allowed to stay alive that long? He's in plain sight.
Like, what is the communication like, Alan? Because Scrap finishes a kill right in front of Shotzi. He knows that he couldn't have gotten that far away. But the fact that Scrap, with the confidence that that young man has, just played that position to find the second kill. He knows that Insight is watching over him, one of the most clutch S&E players that we have in the game. And that is technically like a 2v4? Because that's exactly what they do. The ARs get it done.
Yeah, I mean, it legitimately is. I mean, you see off the kill feed right there. It is legitimately a 2v4. It's the exact same retake attempt as well from Optic, where the smoke comes through and they just cannot find the kills. And now all of a sudden, we've got an 8-man hit over towards A. Kleenex is already forward. The first time we've seen him in this position, but an unfortunate bounce off Insight's nade will give a free first blood to Optic. Scrap on the pinch, though. Opportunity starts to brew. And how about the help from Insight again? Now down to the 2v2. And Optic are stuck on the site. Shotzi, the last one left. He's got absolutely no idea where Insight's gone off to, but has an idea that he's still down low on the sky bridge. Problem is, Insight is out of there, and I think Shotzi may have just seen him.
Yeah, Shotzi spots him, but Insight with
Fucking
the
kidding me
shots.
right now, dude.
Ultra could do no wrong. Even
God,
with the
bro.
team kill right in the beginning of the round, they still clutch up in the man disadvantage. They are just playing some next level COD. This is the form that you want to be in going into the end of the year. On the opposing side for Optic Texas, still awful in search and destroy. That's now 0-10. 10 S&D L's in a row for the green wall. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to figure it out, Alan, because what? They had their best hard point to start off the series. They fall short. Yep. They continue their deficit in search and destroy. That's now 10 losses in a row. Like, what are they going to need to potentially have an insane bounce back story? Because I can't seem to find anything.
I'm going to leave that question as a rhetorical because I don't have any answers. I mean, legitimately, you could not have set up the series better to start on a sub-base hard point. You get blown out of the water there. You return over to a 6-star search and destroy, where, again, it hasn't necessarily been terrible in terms of how Optic have played. Again, a round 9, round 10 loss, but that came to the Boston Breach. But it's the same thing we saw yesterday. Smoke retakes. It's just, I hate to say it, but that's what we're seeing in challengers, Jay. It just doesn't feel dynamic enough for a team like Optic, your Major 3 champs, and Toronto absolutely punish. And the better news for Ultra fans is you're going to a high-rise control for map number 3, a map that they're currently 7-5 on, but 5 of their wins have come in their last 5 matches. So doesn't really feel good for Optic fans in terms of trying to use this series as a chance to reestablish some sort of a competitive identity, because at the moment it is out the window. I know Patrick Price is probably loving it right now.
Yeah, nah, Optic Texas, I don't really know what they're going to be able to find, man. They were needing at least a series yesterday versus Boston. You fall short, but now you're coming in and potentially getting 3-0 by Ultra. Their minds all over the place going into Major 4.
And for Ultra, there's a chance to possibly top the overall qualifiers and set yourself up for number 1 on the Major 4 stage. We'll come to find out what happens. High-rise control right after this. Don't go far.
Upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Scuff Gaming is doing an ultimate giveaway where you and a friend can win a chance to go to COD Champs this year. The giveaway includes 2 VIP tickets, travel expenses, and more. To enter, scan the QR code on the page or go to scuff.co/CDL and enter your email. Terms and conditions apply.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL.
Welcome back. Our final online day of Modern Warfare 3, and what would have been, just based on the standings, if you looked at it from the overall perspective, seemed to be possibly a banger, has been anything but. Toronto Ultra, all smiles, all vibes, as they're up majorly 2-0 against Optic Texas, and now you're sitting here looking at a high-rise control where Toronto has played nothing but this qualifying stage.
Here we go
and
again.
also on top of that, we've been kind of studying it, we've seen it. No team has won a major and then finished last in the next qualifier. We've had teams start in the lower bracket, but never have they finished last. So quite literally, Jay, this is the steepest fall from grace we've had in the CDL history.
And I was thinking, you know, back to when LAG won that tournament with Spark, you know, they won it, and I know they started in a losing bracket then, but Optic Texas even on a worse trend than that. So they had to try to turn it around, and unfortunately for them, it's not going to be easier going in on this high-rise control, because Toronto on a 5-game winning streak on this map alone. They have only played this map all throughout this stage, and where they have shown drastic improvements have been on their attacking side. They used to get outslayed by 4 to 5 kills. Now it's barely 1. They have figured out the map.
And this is the thing, is Toronto, they're so good at isolating this B zone. Envoy just threw underground, waits for his teammates to pick up on the information, and now he's guarding you from getting out of spawn. Kenny trying to do the same thing on the other side, unsuccessful. Only a single kill to this point. Envoy still hunting out eliminations, and Optic look lost. Second tick gone, third on the way, double stack still in play.
And they're still finding all the exit kills there. Everyone from Optic Texas who have yet to leave their spawn, so they make a little bit of a contest here at the B point, slowly working on that progression on the third segment. But 26 to 21 in lives remaining. Optic Texas need a turnaround and need it quick.
Yeah, absolutely the case. You've got Fred trying to play from elevator side. He's in for the contest, and whoa! The shots, I'm sure, were great from Kleenex to start, but better from Envoy to secure the kill. And now he predicts the jump up on the pipes. Not fully. Do they get the extra 60 seconds yet? But a follow-up hit from Insight will confirm it. 21 plays 18, minute 55 on the clock.
And it's the same thing for Optic Texas. This used to be one of their good maps, especially because they used to be able to outslay both teams on every single side, but defenses recently for them have been a struggle. 9th overall on the map. And at least to start off, we're showing that a little bit, but trades are effective. 2-2 on the split. Optic maintaining the map control. Just need to hold on for a minute 35.
Yeah, no need to rush or panic really on either side at this moment. Dashy trying to play just over the top of the A zone. We'll get a little bit further depletion on that first tick of progress as Shotzi cleans up some action through mid-map, but Toronto, very patient. Find the trades they need to at least keep the effort forward on towards this A zone. Pred, up and over, really well done. And once more, Optic right back in control here defensively, and they've reduced the life lead just down to 1.
Yeah, so far what Optic's game plan has been trade. Try to bend the lives remaining back into our favor, but the route from Kleenex might get enough. He finds that first one onto Dashy. Scrap already finds a second. They know the last two players are pushed out towards Heli, but Kleenex said, nope, I'm still going to commit on the spawners. He finds another one out. Toronto should be able to work the objective.
Whoa, plus the pistol at long range, able to find Shotzi, who was about half HP. Insight on the zone with Scrap. Trophy system down for now. Kleenex off the respawn, still keeping Optic away from the defense being able to come back through. And at one point, it was a 13 plays 12. Now it's a 3 plays 12. Straight eliminations from Toronto. Third tick gonna get locked as Optic try to fall off the map. Oh my goodness, how quick it transitions as Toronto dominate their opening attack.
Yeah, no, this is looking over. Like, it's as simple as that. Ultra coming out ready to swing. And Optic Texas still sitting in the bullpen. Just don't understand what they're doing. Like, they're just losing a bunch of these one-on-one gunfights. You're leaving openings for Toronto, and they're taking full advantage of it. But when you allow players like Kleenex to, you know, roam around your base, this is what the ending of the round is going to look like. Let's just jump off and not give that guy any more kills.
Yeah, and all 6 ticks of progress did get confirmed there before that last suicide fall comes through. So Kleenex on 5, Toronto with 6 ticks on their opening attack. Set the bar about as steep as you could be. Kenny has 1 kill, it looks like. I think that's an accurate tally. I know the scoreboard sometimes comes up broken, but he gets his second here. So again, the opening defense for Optic not good, but offensively, a chance to do some work here over towards this B zone. 3 members on, second tick looking good.
Yeah, this is perfect start from Optic Texas. They dominate the gunfights over towards B Street. They already have that second segment earned in at the B point. And they are still trying to trade effective around this objective. As now it falls into the hands of Shotzi to just fill the gap. Is a contest going to come in? I don't think so. And if it does, it's a one-on-one gunfight. You just have to win it. Unfortunately, he falls short.
Yeah, Brent able to follow up, find the kill. Still, the contest is alive, though. It still hasn't been confirmed yet, but surely it will here, and it will. So now, all of a sudden, Kenny, better start here on this offense. Gets into a good position, backside over towards this awning area, and there may be a chance to actually catch a couple of Toronto members off guard. Here we go. Optic starting to wake up a bit with progress being made over towards A.
Yeah, this is perfect right here from Optic Texas. First segment about to come in. You have the ARs, even the SMGs picking up the MCWs, still shooting. As Predator trying to make it 3 in a row, commits on the gunfight versus Scrap. If you strike, you better be ready to take him down. But that second segment is already in.
Yeah, Dashi also still finessing, keeping his life, working on the third tick. Pistol's good, and the nice double here from Dashi. Follow-up help on for Pred as they're trying to get this third tick completed, and okay. How about that? Haven't seen that in quite some time, but both teams very fluent through their offense, both able to get all 6 ticks of progress, and I think 19 lives remained here for Optic on this offensive round.
Yeah, that's good plays right there from Optic Texas. With everything that's been, you know, thrown at them so far throughout this series, you're able to find yourself a dominant attacking ground on high rise. So you tie it all up in the segments. Just got to keep in mind that I think Ultra were able to outslay it by a little bit more in that round number 1. But now if you are Optic going back on the defensive side, let's not allow Ultra to have the start that they did.
Yeah. Absolutely the case. So now it's just down to what does Ultra want to try to pull out here. As CleanX tried to get over through Underground. Good aggression from Optic. Get their defense going early. Envoy also going to be stunned up and dealt with by Pred. So yeah, here we go. Defensively for Optic, a really solid start for them. They're winning every single elimination, and they're controlling some key ground right around this B point.
Yeah, it's the perfect start. You win the initial couple of gunfights. You're dominating over towards the B street, and Dashi's still able to find himself.
Let's go, Dashi. Lock the fuck in.
The
Let's fucking go.
Needs the bat signal, and that might have been able to present itself after that map number 2.
Bro.
As that cruise missile is earned.
Yeah, it legitimately feels like a no more nonsense mode right now for Dashi. 13-9, 7 in a row. The heroics over towards the A zone on the offense, and now starting off the defense near flawlessly. A couple of trades though for Toronto, get them out of spawn. Dashi still cooking it up though. 14-9, 8 in a row, and still looking to get aggressive. Their pistols working, and Big Bruce is here, but Toronto have found entrance over towards A to stop the clock.
Yeah, regardless of what everything that Bruce is getting done over towards B Street, just hoping that the teammates can find a little bit of success over towards Blue, but they at least find the exit kills onto the point. First segment already going to be earned, but Optic Texas reinforce around the map, take full map control away, and Dashi unfortunately is going to fall short, but 10 in a row is a job well done.
Absolutely, Pred through the middle of the map, also able to track down CleanX. So yeah, Toronto's offense after the hot fiery start in round number 1 has found absolutely nothing here in their second. Maybe one more chance to get onto either of these 2 zones, and Optic are not allowing that to happen. I don't know where this was in the first 2 maps, but Optic are finally starting to come to life in the slaying department.
Yeah, the commercial break.
Fucking go. Come on,
wonders.
boys.
You know, a little 5-minute
Off the
pep
fuck
talk,
in.
especially with the
Fucking
3-time
finals.
world
Holy
champion
shit.
Damon Barlow.
God
Coach has got to let him know, like, you guys are so much better than this. You guys know it. Everybody in the world knows it. Just got to go out there and work together to show it. And at least they're so far in this control. They're punching Ultra right in the face as they're up 2-1, but now they go on the attack.
And this is, again, just Bruce taking it and saying, nah, no more of this. This is all me. So good stuff for Dashi. 17-10. Cruise missile at the ready. Trophy systems down as Optic are blitzing over towards the B zone. Inside holding them at bay. First shots are good towards Shotzi, and you've also got a member in CleanX on the pinch, and yep, there it is. Toronto once again suffocating you close towards your windows. Good trade though from Pred.
Yeah, it's a big kill from Pred, because if you allow CleanX to be a nuisance in your spawn, we know that what he is capable of doing. But now if you are Optic Texas, you have to work out of your base. Thankfully, Pred is still the farthest player pushed out, and he's somehow, some way able to find a double. So now Optic Texas can work their way up through that B street and work that B.
Looking good for it. Clock will stop at 53 seconds. Shotzi took just a quick gauge over towards the A zone. Doesn't like what he sees, backs away. Damage still coming through. Kenny able to find CleanX, and first tick going to be pretty much a guarantee. Shotzi also just kind of waits, wins a 1v1. Now we got progress happening on both
go. We got
at the
2
same
cruises.
time with Pred starting to heat up. 6 in a row for him. A second cruise missile gets earned. Second tick of progress looking pretty good. CleanX from behind though, able to keep it safe, and now a little bit of depletion comes through for the Ultra defense.
Yeah, and that all falls into the hands of Pred to find success for that one segment. He was the only player pushed out, and he found himself on 6 in a row. Now cruise missile earned in the back pocket. But you don't want this potentially to come down to the slaying. I know Optic had a very dominant round previously, but you want to get this second segment done so you guarantee that defense just in case we go to round 5.
And that has just just happened. Contested from Scrap cannot find Shotzzy. And now all of a sudden Optic are going to do essentially the exact same thing again. 2 players on either zone at the same time.
Let's go.
Fred keeping it safe over through A. Shotzzy trying to find something over towards the Toronto spawn. Not going to happen, but the extra 60 seconds is tallied. Now a 4-life lead starts to grow for Optic as Pred is working for a potential cruise missile. He's on 4, slips into the Toronto spawn, and this is good news here for Optic.
Yeah, and this is when Optic are at their best, when the Predator is playing like this. 29 and 13, about to re-wrap on the cruise missile. The teammates are on the point. I would love to see them stack with Pred in this position, but he unfortunately is going to fall. The second segment is in. 15 and 9 still in lives remaining.
You can just TDM it right now if you're Optic. Toronto trying to battle back. Clean. They find 3. So now 12v9. Getting called in. Does this catch anybody? That's the real question here, and it does. So an extra elimination over towards CleanX. Insight also isolated over towards Blue, but he slips away, and the Toronto defense can at least stabilize with the spawn coming close over towards the A zone.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if Optic Texas are going to invest a second cruise missile on this round and try to close out the map here. Because you're already called in 1. You're just hoping that you can sniff out a couple players from the Ultra. They just haven't been able to do so. Pred, you have to back down and play your life. Unfortunately, he is going to fall, and Ultra, they are holding.
Straight eliminations here for Toronto. Insight,
oh my God,
forward saves Envoy's life. So now we get to a 7v7. 50 seconds on the clock, still no worries in terms of having to play super quick. Pred, a route through mid. May have opened the route for Optic to get on towards the A zone, but Toronto have the coverage of it. 6v5, 40 seconds, and Optic have to pause.
They have to pause, and you have to really slow this one down. Unfortunately, Shotzzy not able to win that gunfight versus Scrap, so no more respawns for Optic Texas. It has to be perfect.
Scrap is looking for a cruise missile as well. Insight, just watching from the backside of elevators. No worries there. Contest on the A zone. Envoy is holding his life. Pops out, finds the kill, and whoa, right when it starts to hit point break, Toronto able to at least pause out that Optic onslaught, and we're gonna get to a round 5, but Optic do have the defense.
Yeah, Optic have the defense secured, and they also have a cruise missile in the back pocket as well. If you are Optic, a lot of your focus early on into this round has to be taking down Scrap, who's on 5 in a row. Don't want to allow him to earn the cruise missile, and then eventually a play to be made off of that. Just got to come out and just have a good start off again, because when they had the good start off, when they allowed Dashy to go on that streak over towards B Street, just single-handedly shutting down that lane, everything looked a lot easier for Optic.
Yep, absolutely the case. So now it's just down to the cruise missile tally. 1 has been spent, but there's still more to come here as Toronto will get back over towards their offensive side. CleanX looking to go underground immediately. Double trophy systems for Texas, trying to win B Alley, and CleanX is going to hit the dead silence and sit here and be right behind this Optic setup. There's 1 up top. Shotzzy will drop, plus the follow-up from Insight, and Kenny, the last one tallied, will be all the way over towards A. He even falls. Almost a turn and burn from CleanX, but still, everything stays pretty neutral. Dashy calling in the cruise missile to try to get this defense back in line.
Yeah, he doesn't want to allow Ultra to keep them in the trap in the back of their spawn. So you're going to call that end just so your teammates can work out. And they also able to find the kills as well. That leads to 3 dead in the feed. Farthest player pushed up is going to be CleanX. He's able to find 1, but you got to play your life a little bit longer.
And Shotzzy up and forward on the windows. Good double, but the trades are also just as evenly dealt by Toronto. Down low, CleanX, nice shots towards Pred, as he now has a chance to climb the ladder and possibly get over towards the B zone, but instead pushes out, knows he's got Shotzzy at low HP. No worries there with the pistol.
Oh my God!
To take down Kenny, who would have been a bullet. Pred does take down 2, make it 3, cleans the floor again, and we reset 30 seconds on the clock.
Oh my God, CleanX is just looking for some help. Like, guys, I'm doing it all. I'm finding every single kill through bottom pit. If you can find a little bit of success to the top mid, we can stop the game clock. But with only 20 seconds left, Optic just have to be prepared for 1 more good push. 1 4 dead is all I need to force map 4.
They do know Kenny's top helipad. Isolation is in. Clock will stop around 15 seconds. Optic taking their full defensive focus over towards the B zone. Toronto in a little bit of a panic right now. Kills are decent. Shotzzy around the back trying to stave off this Ultra hit, but it's not going to work out. The trades are good, and now Ultra can at least get on with a couple of members. 2 players to stack. First hit going to get locked. Pred, though, this route may surprise Toronto completely. He catches the first. Now it's down to who else can follow up.
Oh, you're just hoping that the rest of the teammates now can reinforce with their numbers. Shotzi's able to find 1,
no
but not able to
way,
find that
bro.
to Envoy. Now it falls into the hands of Dashy in a 2v1 scenario. He finds the first one with the Renetti, but still with 7 seconds left, Toronto are going to be able to extend the game clock.
Unreal. Kleenex again comes up major. A couple eliminations, puts him on 37 total. Dashy over the top. Doesn't like the look of the gunfight. You don't.
Oh my God!
Anyway, the pistol gets the win. 9v4. Pret stuck. Doesn't know where Kleenex went, who almost turns it into the game-winning moment. And still, it may have been enough damage dealt. 8v1. Optic down to just Dashy, which may have been the story of this entire map at one moment in time. The stack is on. It's going to force Bruce's hands, and Optic will fall over.